All right, you people, here we go. Came a long way, jet lagged somewhere over. I'm jet lagged somewhere over like, Borneo or some shit, so things are all according to plan. Here we go, let me check my multimedia. Here, let's see if we can get this thing to work here. Okay, how's that look in the back? This thing, you really got a hork on it. Okay, we're cool. I'm just a person, you guys. I gotta make sure my multimedia works. Nice delay on this thing, okay. Looking pretty good back there, huh, Tony? Huh? All right. Okay, you guys. Okay, all right, here you guys go. Okay. My name is Aaron James Draplin. I am 43 years old, tired as shit, seeing double at this point. And I'm a graphic designer and a maker of, things and stuff. I live in Portland, Oregon. I am from Michigan. And I'm on a bit of a book tour. We just finished 5 weeks in an orange van, 5 weeks, 25, 30 dates we did. We have 4 more to go. And we're on a book tour, and I am, thank you for coming. Thanks for having me, Tony and Dave Clayton, and making this shit happen, and Emma and everybody. I'm here to tell you a story about my book. Now, I don't know if I come from a family, all right? I come from a family, a mom and a dad, and interesting neck angle on the youngster there. And I have a girlfriend. Sorry, ladies, I'm sorry. I know, get a good look, fellas. But here is a spread from the book. But see, what should a book be about? Awards and all that other bullshit? That stuff doesn't matter. I worked for a bunch of friends along the way, and I tricked graphic design into hiring me. Because when there was no money to be had, I don't get to complain about the clients, because there was a time I never had any. So how'd I do it? I made my own. And this spread really sort of like illustrates. Sometimes there's shit in here where a buddy just called and said, I like what you do. I heard you'll work for free sometimes. And I did. There's nothing wrong with that. I helped, this guy's, who the hell wears beard oil? But I helped him, But as you go through this is what I wanted to pack into this book. Because maybe you know about me from making logos, 9 out of 10 here was just for the hell of it. Because I wanted to manifest a life where someone would hire me to make these things. And that's what's been happening. But how do you get a job if you don't have the portfolio to show it? And how do you have the portfolio if you don't have the big job to get the portfolio filled? Whatever. Well, you just kind of lie about it. And you make it for your buddies. So I've been using my years. I'm 43. I've been at it since about 96. That's 20 years, since I had a computer. And, maybe you know about field notes. These are little books that I make with my partner, Jim Kudal, and they're all over London, and they're all over the world, and this is because I couldn't find ones I liked. It's as simple as that. I just made my own. Or merch, and whoever's been to the merch table already tonight, thank you. And come get the book, you people. Come get the book. I came a long way. I am not afraid of that. I know you got it. I know how much a sandwich costs in this town. Come get the book. Right there. I've been a lot of places to talk about, myself, and it can't get any more surreal. So I don't know how you know me, but tonight I want to tell you about this. I got to make a book, and I did not get into graphic design to make a book. I got into graphic design to make a living. Where I'm from in northern Michigan, it's rough. And I don't know what the equivalency here is, in northern England or something. I went some rough parts of up in Ireland, and I understand, there's certain rough parts there. But I'm from a rough part of the upper Midwest. So this is a new talk. And, I got a book deal. You call it the harrowing account of making the first book. But when you get the call to the big leagues, and you never thought that would happen, it's weird. Because I had other guys come after me and say, hey, we like what you do. We want to make a book, and we'll produce it, and we'll do this. And I would kind of back off, because here's the first word of the first use of the P word tonight, privileged. I'm privileged to go behind the scenes now, backstage somewhere, and hear people lamenting about the book they got to make, how it didn't sell, or how the publisher held them down, or whatever. I hear that shit from earshot, and I didn't want to be one of those people complaining about this. When Abrams called, they made Sagmeister's books. Sagmeister, or Victori's big art poet book, These are big names, and I knew I could cruise in at the bottom of the roster, and be okay. That's me getting to know my buddy John. This is John Gall, who gave me the green light to do this, my editor. getting grabby with him. Because my first inclination was to say, no. I made it when no one knew about it. I had my house paid off. I bought it in 2004. I had it paid off by 2010 with graphic design. There's no awards or interviews for that shit. But I mean, there's not. We don't have time. That's how I threatened them all last summer. But he made it okay for me to stop my life packing into this book. You get a contract. It's scary, man. Like, this is the real deal, and you got to get a lawyer to help and stuff. And I signed it, of course, and we went back and forth. But that's when you really see kind of how big it's going to be, because whatever I can make, and I was never concerned with any of that, you see the vessel behind it, and it's scary because it goes from being this cool thing to having a knife against your throat because now you're on the clock. And when I got this thing going, I didn't know if I'd get paid anything. I wasn't really concerned with that. When you get this thing going, that's all I've ever been concerned about. And it turns out their policy is 10 books, and then you get paid to be involved in it, and you get paid, like I remember saying, well, who's going to write it? And they said, we have this wonderful young lady from Northern Alabama. We're going to put her on the phone with you, Draplin. Oh, great. I get on the phone with her. We get talking. I go, Northern Alabama? And I go, there's this band called the Drive-By Truckers from Northern Alabama. I grew up on it. She says, who? And that's the day she lost the job. It's not to be mean. I can't bring someone up to speed on my stupid little life. So I said, well, can I write it? Sure, you can write it. So you get paid to be involved. You get paid to write it. And then I said, well, who's going to design it? Oh, we have 2 kids. And I dabble in graphic design myself. And so I got, which basically meant this, 1,500 books were going to be shipped to my shop, which meant if Abrams didn't sell one, that's on them. Because here's the deal. This is publishing. They take that, and I get a couple little shitty nubs to work with, and that's publishing. That's life. So fine, if they didn't sell one, that's on them. I had 1,500 to give away to my buddies and my mom and my friends and my gal and, take on the road or whatever. But, when that shit shows up, it's scary. 3 pounds, I don't know what the equivalency is in stones or whatever you got here. I don't know. These things show up, and this could fill like this zone right here with books, and that's when it got real, because we had to sandbag them into a storage unit. It was incredible. When I get up here, I'm embarrassed to say how many times I get to say I while I'm up here, because it's not just I ever, really. It's we. It's me and my girl Lee when we ship. It's when I go junking with my buddies. It's me and my asshole buddy Dale. You ought to see this asshole. He's got a face like a pit bull. This isn't me making a book. It's all these people, And I went cubicle to cubicle in New York City a year ago before the book came out, cubicle to cubicle, and just said thank you to each person. I met all the logistics and shipping and rights and usage, and I can't remember the names. I don't remember the names, Boy, you guys are real quick, huh? You guys are real quick. That's the Jacksons I'm making fun of in New Edition. Okay. 4 months. I did it in 4 months. I was told you do it in a year. No, they got a schedule. It was scary. I built it in Illustrator. I went through and I just did a big old laundry list, got it approved by John, and we started building. I got the call in November of 2014. I signed the contract in March of 2015. I had it handed off and printed by December. We had it handed off by November 15th. So, there was no romance there. I was on the clock, Now to make this thing, you guys ought to be in here. Fucking bullshit. Come all this way, and they're out there tinkering on I'm not going to say it. When they say it's a mid-career survey, it's scary to hear that, because how long is a career? I never even thought I had a career, And you go through that, I just wanted to show this. I just wanted to show all the little stuff, all the bullshit, all the tiny things, all the things that helped me get to this podium right now. That's what I wanted to show. I didn't want it to be this thing about only the greats or the award. It doesn't matter. But there's a chip on my shoulder, because the great privilege of being able to do this also means, you have a lot of eyeballs on you, and that's an incredible privilege. And it's also a weird little privilege to have people come after you. And, I saw Dan talking about the comments on Reddit. That shit is the worst on Reddit, But, I wanted to show these kids I know my way around a grid. This isn't fashionable or cool, and it especially isn't cool for snowboarding. But what I was proud to show, and it might only be a postage stamp size, but if you look up in that top corner up there, that's not a picture of a girl in a bikini. That's a girl one-to-one with the rest of the snowboarders in this magazine. Her own article, their own issue. We fought for that shit. Does that little puke grad student coming after me call me a one-trick pony because my poster sells more than his that month? Does he know about this shit? No, they don't know about this shit. I know my way around a grid, But that's not what likes and aggregators and things prop you up as. You're the flavor of the month, And right now it's a bunch of goddamn Yoda posters and shit, and that's fine. That'll come and go and whatever. Fine, I get it. I like it too, but the best we can do is make some bullshit that says, go outside and create or something. You know what I'm talking about? Well, that's what we're doing right now. It's a simple grid, And this was, Jan Tischold taught me this, That's it. You write it, overprint on that Orange 21, some tricky media, That's my little nephew, Oliver. That's Oliver. He's 6. To have this privilege to stop your life, have shoeboxes on all my desks and go through and say, I found my cheat sheets from high school. My whole life is organized now. Cheat sheets. You would laminate it and you put it in your mouth and the teacher will walk by and you pull it out. That's it. They're there. They're little. I found skateboard zines when I was 14 years old and a picture of my mom from 1969 and me working for President Obama and drawn on trash. A lot of drawn on trash over the years. Oh, yeah. But see, when I was in Alaska, I wasn't up there to spend my money on kayaks and weed and those fucking pants that zip down to shorts and all that shit. No, I was up there to make money. That's how I got my first computer. I watched 5 months for 100 hours a week, and that's how I got my first computer, So to go through and unearth these out of my field notes to show how we made the Union Binding Company logo out of Milan, Italy, that's how I made it. There's no mystery, Or when you draw on a puke bag, and it becomes a watch. There it is. There's no complaints making this thing. But it was a weird summer because I gave myself entirely to it. I was there all day, all day. And, that's actually really cool. I couldn't get down there quick enough, but it was so weird. And I got to watch my verbiage here for my new friends over here, because when I would leave the house at 7 in the morning or 7:30, I'd race down to the shop, work 17-hour days, long days. When I would drive home, I wouldn't put my pants back on, my trousers back on. I wouldn't put them back on. I don't care. I'm just going to get home. It's 3 in the morning. But it got so weird last summer, I wasn't even putting them on when I'd go to work. And it was just this, just efficiencies. Fucking. That's my shop. That's it. This is my favorite shot in the book because there was no receptionist. There were no barcodes. There was no one, with a fucking clipboard, telling you to move when you're not supposed to move or whatever. The things that mean being, there's no meetings about meetings in here or emails about an email. I get them all the time, but I know how to battle it. But I got to pull off a creative life in this shop. We paid for it. There's no receptionist. There's no one coming in to do our trash. I do the recycling. Lee does the shipping. It's us. My 2 partners, John Femister and Dave Nakamoto, those are my brothers. They watch over me when I'm gone and vice versa. And it just looks like this. This exists. Who's got a shitty boss here? Who hates their boss? Okay, we see a couple. I know. There's no boss here. It's us. And we're responsible for making it work. And I just love showing this because I get in trouble for staying in there too long with my girl. Because it's filled with, there's a lot of larceny in this shop, but we don't need to get into the provenance of that. But it's not all a race to see who can have the most Legos and shit in their office. I know, but it's more the idea that it was comfortable. I don't care if anyone liked my graphic design. I'm not really concerned if I did a good job or not. I was comfortable the last bunch of years. That's all I've ever asked for. Now, I don't know how this translates here, but this is in the book. Who here's dug a ditch? A lot of soft hands in the crowd, huh? Well, I've dug a ditch, and so have you, man. I know, sucks, right? Well, I was a carny one summer, and you get there. I was coming back from my first year out west, and you know, how did we get out west? Which was from Michigan to Oregon to go be snowboarders with my buddies. We worked dishwashing jobs all summer long, 1993. Went out there for the winter of 93, 94. We come back, tails between our legs after an incredible winter out west with all my buddies. And we get these summer jobs. My parents lined this up. And the people who hired us, you know, they explained, hey, the people who own the carnival, they run the deal. They lease us the lots, you know, wherever we set up, to our pizza wagons and, you know, elephant ears and, you know, whatever the hell, lemonade stands. Okay. And then you guys will work for us in the food court. And then all the way at the bottom, that's where the carnies are at. Okay, right? So me and my buddy Chad, we come back from Oregon, we get this job. And you see right away that hierarchy, man. You see it right away. But about 10 days in, 2 weeks in, each night they'd have a little table. And at the end of the night, when the carnies were shutting the rides down or had everything put away and we're going to drive all this stuff to the next show, you know, I did about 12 spots that summer, 12 different things over the course of 10 weeks. And they're going to move. Every night they'd have a little table, and they would set it up where there's a little clipboard and a cash box. And every night those carnies would come and they would get a little draw on their earnings, $5, $10, $15, whatever it was. And then about 3 weeks in, 4 weeks in, we started hearing shit like at the end of that 2-week pay period, more often than not, because not only are they charging them for food, they're also charging them to stay in those little fifth wheel sleeper carts and shit every night, $4 every night. They're charging them all this stuff. At the end of the 2 weeks, sometimes kids would owe money back to the people who ran the thing. Now that's called a fiefdom, and they understood that. The average carny kid, there's no laughing here. These are people, I had a mom and a dad. I had health care. And these kids don't even have their teeth at 17 years old. I'm serious about that. And we'd sell them these Mountain Dews that are this big or a Coke this big, and you feel bad because their shits are already rotten, and this is because of how they grew up. So we watched that, and like any two kids with a heart ought to do, at the end of the night, we'd take a cash box, a shoe box, filled with 20s and 10s and 5s back to the food court people. I'm sure they took a cut, and that went to the people who owned it all the way on up. So Chad and I, we just started stealing. And how we did it was when the kid would come up in the morning and get that fucking 99-ounce, whatever the hell, orange crush this big, and I'd hand it to him, and I'd say $4.75, and he'd give me a $5 bill. I'd give him change for $15.25, a little wink. And he'd slink back to his ride, and all summer long, we Robin Hooded that shit. But that's in the book, and I don't know if there's a statute of limitations for stealing from a bunch of promoter assholes, but it's in the book. Anyway, behind the scenes, to make our field notes, hopefully you know about field notes, and if you're buying them, thank you. I mean, we have a real business, and they come from these things. I don't know what the equivalent is for, some old timer out in the sticks here, but where I'm from, an old guy, he had it all in his pocket, in his shoe and his glasses, and that's where I made field notes. I saw those guys, so I'd make my own books, and I started making my own little books because I couldn't. Actually, I went to Milan, and we were in beautiful, city of the world, Milan, and I saw my first Moleskines. I bought a bunch of them, took them back home. Before that, we were going off of Muji, using Muji. When my friend would go back from school, where she's from Japan, get us a bunch of stuff and bring it back. I started making my own, $2,000 for 2,000 books, and that's where this shit took off. That was 2006. And, years later, we continue to keep going. I mean, I was in headquarters in Chicago about 6 weeks ago, and we're up to 2,500 stores, And here's the thing. In the book, all I wanted to show was that's what it looked like in my pocket when I started, all the way down to November when I handed off the book. There's no secrets. This is where my life has existed. Today when we were waiting for the food, I'm drawing, all the people I got to meet today. I've been doing this since I was 3 years old, drawing and making notes. Now, I know how to listen. I know how to, think and formulate and sketch. And I wanted to show that in the book that there's no secret. It's not all about making logos, and I show a bunch of pages about how to make a logo. It's about making a list, crossing things off, and how good that feels. It's different than a swipe on your phone. That's why paper, much like a stick in the dirt, in a cave or something 100,000 years ago, it still works, And, right now my phone's at like 12%, and I'm all sweaty and in the danger zone and shit. But I knew how to listen. And I knew how to, if it sticks off a banana, you stick it. That's rule number 1. But it's a life on paper, and it's not all that complex. That's how you make a logo. That's how you craft this little vector or come up with a game plan or, sketch out some. If anyone's ever bought one of my Thick Lines posters, secret's out. It's on one plane ride, and I'm just tired of seeing a bunch of, Back to the Futures and bullshit over and over again. I'm just going to go clean. And that's where it comes from. There's no academic whatever behind it. I just wanted something clean. There it is. That's in the book. Now, I had a pretty prominent academic critic guy come after me backstage at one of these things and say something like, show a lot of secrets, Draplin, like it was a bad thing. My favorite guys, they had the same guts. April Greiman would show you her notes. That's cool. So I don't know, to youngsters here who want to do this stuff, just go do it, it sounds like a bumper sticker, but that's what I wanted to show in the book and say that. That's my partner, Jim Kudal. Him and his wife live in Chicago. This guy is my older brother, my den mother, sage advice, whatever. And he helped build Field Notes into what it is now. We have 13 employees, and we just did never had a penny of debt. We just did our first maternity leave for Trina. And I'm proud of that. That's not a law yet. It's coming. But we did that with Field Notes. Okay, moving right along. One of our very favorite sections. I saw some good-looking photography today. I saw some software. I saw some kick-ass posters from Dan. Now listen, man, people draw me now. Look at this. I know. Get a good look. It's tricky. I know. I'm never coming back. But what are you supposed to do? There it goes. There it goes. It just broke. There it goes. Garth Brooks up here. There it goes. Okay, look at. There's about 1,000 people working here. We got to get the clicker to work. I don't know. I'm just saying, thanks everybody, but I can't, I'm clicking it. What am I doing right or wrong? What do I say? Like, what is this little fold right here? What is that? When someone hands you that, at 40 years old, when I turned 40, baby's fingernails make me cry, all right? I'm sorry, I'll just say it. And he handed me that, and I just started to cry. I was like, fuck, man, what am I going to do with it? Do I put it on the wall? Like when a fucking raging narcissist does that, But that's not supposed to happen. They're embroidering me. Damn, what do I point it at? When they come up and the eyes are all wonky and he shaved 70 pounds off of me, I just kind of say, thanks, man, I love it. What's your handle? I'll put it on my Instagram. Thank you. Because I kept track of every single kid who handed me something, and I had it in a folder or online or what. I kept track. I don't know why. It was so I could have 2 spreads devoted to shit like this in the book. Yeah. Now, I just wanted to set the record straight. One spread, make an essay, and talk about this. Because I've been told by my heroes, don't say nothing. Don't say anything. You can't go after these guys. If they come after you and attach you to something nasty, there's a reason. There's definitely some math involved there. And the math is this. Nastier the comment divided by the angle of the dangle coefficient of the hypotenuse equals shittier the portfolio every time. I'm sorry. It's just arithmetic. You can't argue with science. I'm sorry. But I've been looking at that arithmetic for a number of years, and I wanted to say something and say, hey, instead of coming after someone to try to hurt somebody, go put the hours in. because that's my favorite people. They had to put the hours in, and I've tried to also. But this is the only no I had in the book, and John just said, don't do it. Don't do it because, I wasn't going to name anyone's names. I was just going to basically say, my dad taught me, my mom taught me, if I have a criticism of someone, you show your name, you stand up and raise your hand, and you do it in a fair way. And that goes online too. So if you ever see me coming on, I thank every kid who draws me. I try to. I leave comments for kids, hey, try this. But why this? It's not because I like it or dislike it. No, it's successful because of this. It's unsuccessful because of this and this. Tune that up, try it, man. This is, what do you want to be known for? And I get these little grad students, they're pissed, man. They've been ripping off Dutch design for 3 years at Yale, and they're going to be 140 grand in the hole. What is that in pounds? 120,000 pounds of the Queen's Majesty's Brexit cash, They're pissed, man, because they got to go make websites with little shoes on them, like the rest of us. They're pissed, and they come after me, and you can trace it. I wanted to say something, but I didn't do it. That's the only no I had for the book. My favorite story in the book. My dad. I'm tired, man. I'm upside down right now, but my dad was an incredible human being, Jim Draplin. He was like a water buffalo in size, and he loved babies, and he loved beer, and he loved my mom, and sadly, we lost him 3 years ago. Oh, he's as dead as it gets, and we're saving a lot on groceries, I got to say, but we lost him. And how do you celebrate someone? I don't want him to be just a Dropbox folder, because that's kind of what he, in a weird way, in a soothing way, he is now, because everything all the stories and shit, that's all collected into one folder now for my dad. And that's how we're enjoying him, after we lost him. But my greatest story with my dad is he took me to a Tiger game, Detroit Tigers, when I was about 10 years old, when I was a third baseman for my little league, You got your glove, you got your hat, and you're at the Tiger game. We're from Michigan, and you go downstate, down to Detroit, and it's the big city. You're with all your cool uncles and all your cousins who don't have nothing to do with you. I'm 10, they're 17, 19. And we go to this Tiger game, and I remember my dad, it was Polish-American night. We're Polish. I'm Polish-Irish. My dad's purebred Polish. And he every year we'd go to Polish-American night because the beers were cheap. They're always looking for a deal, these guys. So we go that night, and he has a couple. My dad didn't drink a lot, but he got a couple. He's feeling no pain. I remember him looking at me and going, "Don't worry, punk. I'm going to get you a ball." Because they took me down to the railing, my cousins, and, batting practice, the balls come up, they hang you over the railing, you get a ball, you got the ball, you go, you're excited. Foul balls, that's about 4 or 5 a game. And my dad tells a 10-year-old, "I'm going to get you a ball." First inning, second inning, third, fifth inning. I said, "Dad, don't worry, kid. I'm going to get you a ball. Don't worry." And he's got the beer, the clapping, the beer. 9th inning, Ron Hassey's up to bat from the Cleveland Indians. Tips one, top of the Tigers' dugout, bounces one bounce, 2 rows ahead of us. My dad dives, catches the ball, doesn't spill his beer. And he puts it in my lap, and it's like, what should be in this fucking book? It's not a bunch of awards or, I did Nikes or whatever, It's this. He Babe Ruth that shit. Does that even transfer over here? He went like this in 19 whatever. I'm going to hit it there, and he hit it there, and won the series or whatever. But my dad was an incredible guy, and here's one of his greatest magic tricks. I'm going to show it to you guys. I'm going to show it to you guys. I'm going to go, okay, here we go. We got all the time in the world, okay? This is my dad's trick. I'm sorry. But here we go. Thank you. I saw him do it at weddings and shit with the whole tablecloth and all the people watching. Because, they hire some asshole, come to the wedding, he's got rings and fucking doves and shit. My dad, I got a trick, let me show you. Get the attention of the whole band and everything. Yeah, sorry, okay. A couple kids brought the Enhancement Kit tonight. I made the book, we made the book, but I wanted to make the slipcase, man. And, John just told me, don't tell Abrams, because they'll take this many of it and you'll get, whatever. Again, just do it. And I did it, and I bankrolled it, and it came out, and it happened, and really this was just to supplement something that wasn't supposed to happen. To go and house it in this beautiful set. Whoever bought one here, I made 1,000 and had 1,000 ready to sell day one when the book came out, May 17th. When the book came out, I sold 920 that day, thinking I'd sell 200 and maybe get my cost back. If I didn't get my cost back, I had enough to give to my friends. But it was filled with all these extra little goodies, bookmarks and a poster of my dad and stickers and field notes and stuff, and then an incredible USA-made case, that just fits perfectly. And whoever bought one, thank you. But let me see here. Shit. All the time in the world, don't worry. Sticker sheets and double hit on that Brillianta. All right. Siri, please work. Okay. We're on a book tour right now. And it's going bonkers, and I couldn't bring the van over here, but it shouldn't be too. I'm at 270 shows in my lifetime, from the first one that happened in Nisswa, Minnesota 7 years ago to now. None of them should have happened. So thank you for coming. I'll continue to go. This is just in the last. That was the start of October, and we had these booked all the way through, and we sold over 1,000 books in a tour van. I bought one of the last of the gas pigs, man. None of this Sprinter bullshit. No. And I painted it Mako orange. Oh yeah, you ought to see that thing. It's majestic. And then my buddies were like, wrap it. And I don't want to wrap it, because then you're like a target to come steal from. Not that an orange van isn't a target, but what do I do? Do I kind of, get conversational? Do I just kind of do the hard sell? What? Vignellian. Maybe thick lines, or coming to your neighborhood soon, London. Hard sell. But that's the van, but it's orange. And of course, when we get back in the van on Saturday morning in Michigan to drive up to northern Michigan, it's going to look like this when I roll that sumbitch. I-75. Okay. I fought for this. I couldn't afford design books when I was a kid. I used to look at them and I'd leave them up at the big bookstore in Portland. But they are $39.95. I fought for that. I did not want them. When I buy, you guys know unit editions, right? Beautiful. That's it. I buy them all. I'm privileged to buy that shit. I know. But when I buy it from the States, it's $180 for that Lance Wyman. And I pop for it. This book, it was $39. It was, it's 16.5 cents a page. Not bad. I'll throw the cover in too. I'll throw it in. I'm not allowed to talk numbers, but I can tell you this much. I'm in my third printing already, and it's only been about 5 months. Third printing. And I can say this much. There's a small town in northeast Iowa we drove through on the tour. It's about 32,000 people at peak season. Anyway, moving right along. In Grapevine, Texas, when I walked into Grapevine, Texas, Lee was getting her coffee at the little Starbucks or whatever it is there, and I go look in the design section, and there's one DDC book in that little section. And it just blew my mind. And so what I did, of course, is I got rid of all the bullshit in the third row, down below, and put my book in the middle and just walked out of there. So I ask you do the same here at Magma or whatever the hell it is. Okay, who here has seen my Tall Tales from a Man multimedia thing? Okay, a couple people have. All right. Because, shit's fucked up right now. It is. And who went to the inauguration 8 years ago to see Mr. Obama take it? Who went? Was anyone there? Okay, I was there representing the good people of the UK. I was there with Lee. Colder than a mother-in-law's love. We're there. We got to see history. We got to see history. Because I was raised in a family that, what do you call it? We were raised in a family that had a reverence for, what do they call those things again? Equal rights and the real tricky shit. Women's rights. Oh, that's it. That's what they are. What was the other one? You know, like, I don't know. There's some other shit. But anyway, this wasn't supposed to happen. And Lee and I had to go because I wanted to be 1/350 millionth of America. I'm just a little ant. And I wanted to go believe again. After that cowboy dipshit those other years, I wanted to believe again. Here comes this new guy. And he's like intelligent. He's measured. He can read. He can, And we're there that night, and it's so big, and we're so high in America, and it's like, okay, if they could make this, what could they do to policy? If they could make that beautiful website to the web developers in the crowd. Remember the site they made? How they rearranged, how they redefined how a political campaign's run. Those guys. And here's the thing. It's like this logo excited me enough to feel like, to believe, because as a logo nerd, it worked this big and it worked this big. And that's what Saul Bass taught me, But I would celebrate it on my website, excited, because they thought this through. They thought this through. So here I am pining about how incredible this is to me and how I feel hopeful. And I get this call. And the call is from the guys who made the logo. And they're from Chicago. And they call and they say, hey, I thought I was in trouble. Because in my life, if I show this shit, usually we get that call saying, there's no rights. Here's a form to sign. I mean, fucking bean counters, calling you with a 15-minute increment sheet or whatever, and you get an invoice. I mean, I get it. I just back off and say, I'm sorry. That's your life? Okay, and then back off. But they said, no, we like how you vote, and we want you to work on a logo for the stimulus project. The stimulus project? Now, see, when America was in trouble in 2008, and I know it extended over here, it was scary. We are, It's scary how divided we are now. But it was bad then. And these guys come in, and instead of cutting you a check to say, go shop in America, they said, we're going to go and reinvest this money into roadways, canals, put people back to work, etc. That's what this whole initiative, the American Recovery Act, is about. Draplin, this is a Wednesday, they call me. Draplin, what are you doing this weekend? What do you mean this weekend? This is due on Monday. So it's a Wednesday I get the call. I have to show 5 comps by Thursday morning. 4 days later, we have to be done. Sunday morning. What are you doing? Let's go. So he briefs me. We get going. But I remember him telling me, anywhere in this process, while I'm telling you, I'm briefing you, if the phone clicks, just sit on hold. What that is, that's whose people calling from the White House to David Axelrod's people, calling us in Chicago here, and they take priority. We're in touch with the White House. So we get talking. We're talking another 20 minutes, and the phone clicks. And I go on hold. And that's when it hit me, man. That's when it hit me. If I'm working for the guys in Chicago, they work for Axelrod. Axelrod works for you-know-who, And I just started to cry on hold. Like, this isn't just for the blue versus red or liberals. No, this is for America, man. My country, right? Graphic design. When you see these logos next time you're visiting the States on a sign or an overpass or whatever, me and my buddy Chris made these for America. My buddy Chris is an incredible human being from Dayton, Ohio, an activist. Him and his partner live in Dayton, a cancer survivor. He took half, I took half, and we started. These are 2 working designers, and we get going on this thing. And, I got the call Wednesday, and they wanted to see 5 comps by Thursday morning. I had 141 done by midnight Wednesday night. You put me in the cage and you poke me with the stick, shit happens. I had to take the old NRA Eagle. This is not the National Rifle Association, fucking redneck bullshit. This is the National Recovery Act of like FDR in 1936 for war efforts, for the Great Depression, poverty. That. Now, they say, take that eagle, make this. 2 hours in, I had this first eagle. I sketched it. You saw me sketching it. I vectored it up. We sent it to Steve. Steve sends it to somewhere. 20 minutes after that, Steve writes me back and says, Draplin, they like it. You know, who's they? Fucking Joint Chiefs of Design? Who is this? We keep going. You know, it's scary because mine would go up, Chris's would go up. Mine would go down, whatever. And we kept going. Chris got the big one in the end. It's all right. I got my punches in. I got the little one called Tiger, Transportation Investigating, Generating Economic Recovery, whatever it was, for roadways, canals, streams, you know, like places that have overpasses, new cement, that Tiger. You know, and I had this thing about on the road to Tiger, all the highways we're going to build and all this stuff. And this was done Saturday afternoon. This was picked Sunday afternoon with Chris's. And, you know, here's the thing is like, in my hometown 6 months later, recovery came to our town. And the good old boys, and you can imagine, there's good old boys in England, and there's good old boys in Oregon, and there's definitely good old boys in Michigan at that barbecue. And you can imagine what those assholes say about our president. These are dumb people. I get it. There's nothing wrong with it. Look at the flashing thing. Just turn it off. I need about 10 more minutes, please. In my hometown, I got to say to those guys, you use that word for our president, huh? All right. I wasn't raised that way. My mom would knock your teeth out. I did the logo that put you back to work. Didn't go over very well. When Fox News, I had email death threats come in. Yeah, because I worked for an antichrist president. Yeah, America, right? Yeah, we're great. Fucking dumbasses. Anyway, when you see these two logos in America, me and my buddy Chris worked on it for America. It's as simple as that, you know. Monday morning when we come in 4 days later, we come in and there's 100 emails and phone calls and messages and whatever the hell saying you need to call MSNBC, CNN. Here's a reporter. Our names were in a congressional report working for this logo. Tell us why you made it. One email in that thing says from Steve, it says, hey, turn on C-SPAN. That's our little political channel, C-SPAN. Turn on C-SPAN at noon. Noon? Turn it on at noon, Draplin, 3 o'clock DC time. We're sitting there all day. I can't say nothing on my emails or my website or nothing. We turn on C-SPAN at noon, and we see this. President Obama showing our logo to America, and I cried my eyes out. You know, because this isn't, if they knew what my face looked like or my mouth, I would have never got that job. Never. That's true. But I got to help my president and help our country. And 8 years later, man. And then, we know some people, and I'm off on the road, and I get this email from my buddy he works for a governor of Washington. It says, Draplin, are you going to be in Portland this weekend? No, I'm on the road entertaining specifically people like in the front. No, those two on the end. I'm out entertaining you two, and Lee's back home, and she gets to go meet the fucking president. And I'm out there entertaining these two hooligans. And she's back home, she gets her best Jackie O on, does her shit up, and she goes down, and he gets off the plane, he runs up to the corner, and she gets to meet the president. And they shake hands, and they exchange little, you know, and then that's right before, and you can't put the phone in his face. And then he goes to the next, and she takes another shot of that, and that's what you see there, the lights on. Good-looking guy, huh? Well, she gets to her car 20 minutes later, and she's upset. She's overwhelmed. I got to meet him, Aaron. He was gentle. He was cool. I told him I appreciated him. You know, whatever. It's a moving thing for people who believe. I don't believe in everything he did, but those last 8 years, I believed again. And I was jealous. I'm still jealous that she got to go. And then, oh yeah, we're up in SeaTac in June this year. We got a buddy come up to SeaTac. That's Seattle. We go up to SeaTac. I get my best, you know, bullshit jean, whatever I had on. I don't know, my dumb orange hat with the sweat stains, you know. And I go up there, and America lands, man. America lands, and it's so big. And Lee, you know, she knows what she's already been through this, you know. And he comes down the thing. He shakes all the hands of the, you know, the tribal dignitaries and the police chief and the mayor and the governor and the LGBTA, you know, all the dignitaries. He shakes their hands. He does the one button, comes running over to us. When he gets here, that's when I started to cry. Because it was like, fuck, man, for the last 8 years, kids who didn't look like me growing up, they got to look at him and say, I can be whatever I want. And shit's changing a little bit, but shit's changing. And however you want to cut it, and I don't agree with everything he did, but he was dignified. And he went and talked to you guys in a new way. And he went and talked to other countries, and he said he was sorry. He still never lived that down, but we need to go say sorry in certain spots. That man did it. And he's just one person. And he's right there, and I can see he's got spit in his mouth. I can look, here's right there. And he gets closer, and he gets to Lee, and they're like fast friends. Hey, Lee, hey, Barack. They know each other. Fucking, whatever. Fucking, fist bumping and shit. And he gets to me, and I got tears coming down my cheeks. And I just said, I'm going to miss you, man. And he shakes my hand, and Lee says that he shook my hand, and he also did a hand clap, like, because I'm crying. And I guess the other kid said, he even hit you in the shoulder. Do you remember that? Because I'm like weeping in front of my president, just saying thank you, And he moves to the next guy. Now I want you to look here, Secret Service guy. That's not the face of security. That's the face of pity. Crying my eyes out. Anyway, look at that face. That's right. God damn it, I'm going to miss him. All right. And right this second, ye old London town, right this very second, right now, however you vote, love, hate, fear, freak out, up, down, whatever your deal is right now instead of every one of your heads, right this very second, right now, this is real. Right this very second. Let me go back here. If you look real close, you can see that dipshit's comb over in New York City. If you look real... Just kidding. Sorry. Right this very second, if I go 700 kilometers north, what? I'm up in the Highlands or whatever they call it, If I go 700 kilometers this way, what? I'm in Brussels or something, or France or something. I get it. What if you go 700 skrillion kilometers or miles or parsecs or whatever the fuck, this way, or this way? That's real right this second. And I just want to remind you, it's A or B. A is you can go in one direction forever. B says if you went quick enough, theoretically, you'd get to the edge of existence as it's creating itself from a big bang how many years ago. You get to the edge of that, and you would be creating it with it. Because all I ask is, does the universe have an edge? Because if it does, what if you can go in one direction forever? What if it's one or the other? You can look it up on Wikipedia. And I don't want you to forget that shit. That's real right now. And I see that and I feel that when I look at the pad on a dog's foot or a baby's little fingernail, that tiny little pinky nail on their foot. That's enough. Don't forget this, you guys. Get cosmic, man. That shit's real right now. And I think if we got just a little more cosmic and had a smidge more of respect for how insignificant we actually are and our insignificant speck of a speck of a speck of a speck of a speck of a... That's real right this second. Right this second. I think we'd understand each other a little bit more. So I have to get cosmic the next 4 years. Otherwise, I'm going to move over here. You guys can adopt me. Okay, we're going to get you out of here. Space shuttle graphics on unfunny shows. All right? You guys ever see the show Transparent? Well, that's for Jill Soloway. That's her production company. That'll be at the end of all those shows now. I told all the Nike execs at that big Portland TEDx, all the Nike execs, I don't need you. Because I don't need them. Guess who doesn't get calls from Nike anymore? That's all right. I don't need them. I'm done. We're done. Shop rags and logos for my buddy's shipping company and a little poster series where all the proceeds go to art education in Indiana. And we're making the patches soon here. And my buddy made a skillet company, and I got to do the type for it. He just finished his 6,500-piece order to Williams & Snow, but that's real. App logos, and my dad died, and I got him tattooed on my arm, and I'm laying there, and I'm noticing it's a little wonky, and I find a bloody toothpick, I start to art direct the guy, he gets all pissed off, we have a push-and match. Had to give him $100 more, and he finally got it right. It's my arm, god damn it, it's my arm. Box cutters. I made a logo for the sun, you might as well go big, Stuff for Target, our big store, Target, stuff for Target. Vans came after me at a big documentary and got to show all my work. And I grew up skateboarding wearing Vans. That's incredible. Target called again, and I got to make one of the first LGBTA cards. And when you checked out for that period of time, proceeds would go to helping people, because it's legal in the States now. It's legal in the States, and what side of history do you want to be on? I don't know if it's legal over here, but it's legal in the States, and that's new for us. And they're already threatening it with these new assholes, and I get it. But this card is dedicated to my Uncle Terry and my Uncle John, who've been together a number of years, and their incredible Diana Ross record collection. Oh, yes it is. Oh, yeah. Card sets. What else? What else? Bon Iver, Justin Vernon called, and I did a logo for his big festival, but I also did the backstage passes. I know the rough stuff, too. That's what got me here. Big poster sets, where I'm showing. Nike called about 8 years ago, and if anyone's got a pair of Janoskis on, I worked on that for those guys. I never met Stefan, but that's Nike, man, but it's Nike skateboarding. It's a little different than jump ropes and shit and running and whatever. Stuff for Skillshare. That's Photoshop. That's real. And then we did it 2 years, world's biggest field notes wall, these pop-up shops in Portland. That's last year. We donated about $8,000 to homeless shelters in Portland. They put me on a magazine cover, How to Kill a Magazine 101. Tote bags. Linda videos up to 2 million. I don't know. Graphic design took me here and there. I'm really thankful. Marin came to, you ever know Mark Marin over here? Mark Marin podcast. No. All right, well, I'm a big fan. I did his poster, and he came in. I made him sign him, but then he put me on the podcast. And if you're a podcast nerd like me, that's one of the biggest in the States. I got to be on it. Please go give it a listen. It's very weird. When Bernie called, my buddy Lewis works for him. He said, make us a poster. I said, shit, how much time I got? You got a night. So I made Bernie, and Bernie. I was excited. And about 8 months later, we go to this art show in New York City. And guess who shows up? And we're there, and my name is at the very bottom of that art show list. And at the very top is Shepard Fairey and all these aging street artists and shit and whatever, blah, blah, aging. These guys are, these New York dudes are 55 years old, man, and they're aping for the cameras, and they're cool and whatever, I'm an aging graphic designer. I get it. But it's like, they let you know the hierarchy clear. And that's all right. We're country mice in the big city, New York. I get it. But when he got to about here, I saw one little piece of Bernie. One little piece. And that's when I just, once again, this is history, man. And then the ship parts. And there's my buddy Lewis helping him get up on the podium. All the artists, we're all behind there getting the shot. Turns around, he does his little deal. Look at my buddy Lewis looking at me going, quit crying. But I didn't get a handshake from old Bernie. I didn't get a handshake. We went on, he didn't quite win. And he had to get whisked away to go do the next thing that night. I didn't get a handshake. But I was digging around on Getty Images. No rights. There's proof. Okay. All right. Dinosaur Jr., matches. I've been painting again. I don't know. Paint my uncle, my buddy. I don't know. I'm just painting again. My sister's all pissed because I gave her a neck beard. I don't know. There's my little nephew Oliver, that little beautiful little creature. He's reading. He's in first grade at a second grade reading level, and we're so proud of him. And he helped me paint all the signs this summer for my mom's yard sale we do every year as we disassemble my dad's empire, right? And it's weird, and he helped me paint them. And then when people turned in on my mom's road, did they know they were being guided by one of the greatest living graphic designers of his generation? No, they didn't know. They didn't know. All right. Mondo Khan, Hajman, Guatemala, man, 7 weeks ago. That was awesome. Guatemala. When you see this in Mississippi, and that night 10 years ago, you make your own typeface. Out of Illustrator, I just hunt and pecked it the last 10 years. My buddy Riley Cran, he helped me bring this thing to life. We did the full, 500 character set, glyph, It'll work for 166 languages coming real soon here. We built 3 different weights. It's called DDC hardware. It's coming soon. Comes with a big poster, how to use it, and decimal equivalents and all kinds of shit. I'm fighting back, man. I'm fighting back. I'm tired of these thieving, uninspired, rip-off designers, man. I'm fighting back because when I make stuff like this, it's just because I missed the space shuttle. And then some kid tattles and he shows me this. That hurts. You know, do you guys know who Volcom is? Skateboarding stuff. But that's 1-to-1. That hurts. When I see a band rip me off, I don't care. Take it. What's it say about your band or your record, you know? Good luck. When a kid does this, and all these kids come in and say, you stole his lines. I didn't invent lines. I didn't invent the rainbow. Make your own stuff. But I saw his hashtag, and his hashtag said, whatever. That Draplin's a one-trick pony. Hashtag, nothing is original. Well, either is his life. I'm going to make it open source, my little space shuttle graphic. I don't care. I'll just put it out there. I don't care. You can have it. You can have it. You know, just... Boy, real intense content, huh? Not bad for the price you're paying, huh? Oh, sorry. Here's a bunch of grad students working on some bullshit with my grad. I don't care. Use it, fellas. $140,000 in the hole at the end of that run. Anyway, okay. I'm sorry. I way too much stuff tonight. Okay. New section. I met Marin that's a big podcast guy in the States. I met him in the airport traveling. I met the Catfish guys. You even know who this is? Maybe. Okay. I don't know. Met those guys. Met Chip Kidd. You know Chip Kidd. I met him. That was cool. I met Neil Hamburger, comedian guy. I don't know if it translates over. I don't know what you guys got over here. Jay Ryan, a poster artist I've been watching for 22 years. I met him. That was cool. Who else did I meet? Hodgman. You guys know Hodgman. You know Hodgman. I met Hodgman. Jay Maskus, Dinosaur Jr. came to the store. We're buds. I just saw him 2 nights ago backstage with Jay Maskus. We're buds. That was incredible. I'm in the airport, and I look at this asshole standing there, me to you. I look at him, oh, man, I'm not going to go shake his hand. I'm not hugging him. Because that's the same week that he put that thing out that said, all you depressed people might as well just kill yourselves and get it over with. Remember when he said that shit? I have buddies who need medication. We have people in our family that need help. It's okay. It's life. There's nothing wrong with that shit. And that guy who's worth $500 million, that's the best thing he can say? Well, that day on that flight from Minneapolis down 1 hour later to Des Moines, 1 hour, I'm a Delta Diamond flyer. And I got upgraded to first class, and he didn't. And I get in the flight, and I see him walking by, and I do the, hello, Mr. Simmons, as he's going to the back with all the circus animals and hay and shit in the back, you know. He's back there, and I heard one of the stewardess say, he's pissed off. We had to clear 2 rows out for him so we didn't have anyone around him. Because while we were standing before we got in the plane, I watched this guy come up with his little plane ticket and a Sharpie and go, Mr. Simmons, he's about 55 years old. Mr. Simmons, could I get an autograph? He's got his phone. He goes, oh. Back to his phone. Now, if you're 55 years old, it's the summer of 77 all over again. And you're 17 when these assholes ruled the earth. And that's his job to sign that guy's shit. That's who got him there. And he didn't do it. So we get off the plane in Des Moines, and we're all walking. And I watch him. You know, it's celebrity, man. There he is. He's walking up. And I see him stop for this group of women on the Segway, like women, like parking lot cops or something. You know, and he stops for the women, and he says, puts his hands on the wall, and he says, frisk me, officer. And everyone laughs. You know, the whole airport laughs. And I'm watching him. And he comes sauntering up, and this half circle of people in the baggage claim start to kind of form, and he comes right through, and all of his entourage are letting him go, and he's sauntering up and takes his glasses off, and he comes walking out into the middle of this half circle, and I just go pounding out there with my bags and walk out there and I go, holy shit, Ted Nugent! Who gives a shit about Gene Simmons? I met Richard Simmons. Boy, tough crowd tonight, huh? All right. Give us a shot. Give us a shot. Nothing about cats or coffee. Thank you for coming. I got a stack of books out there. Come buy a book, lighten our load, lighten our load. I'll sign them. You can climb on me. I'll take photos. I'll hug you, whatever you need. Come get a book. Thanks for listening to this shit. Thank you, thank you, thank you.